now listen. I'm gonna be honest for once. Dorohedoro episode 4,
Yeah.
not the hypest it could be. And we're gonna get serious for a second here.
Welcome back to the Save or Slay podcast. I am Sean. Joining me are Dylan,
Yup.
we have Michael,
Hey, that's me.
and we have Nathan.
That's also me.
We are missing Alex and Elvis tonight for various different reasons. One of them is probably asleep, the other one is also probably asleep, but for two very drastically different reasons. We are still going to press on without them and without their opinions. Elvis might get to put in his votes. It depends when we want to close this. That's up to you guys. I don't care. We can vote without him.
Yes.
I mean, he's not
but
showing up, so
we
like,
vote without.
It is rough.
that's not my fucking
Unfortunately,
fault.
his show also is one of the first shows to kick us off, and just like him, it didn't show up this week.
Oof.
So Darwin's Game unfortunately had its 5th episode pushed back to this coming Friday, the 7th. Reasons for this that I found from scourging the internet: usually when this kind of thing happens, it's either an odd production choice or there's production problems. So either Darwin's Game's production could not produce episode 5 by this week, or they're waiting to release episode 5 to keep Darwin's Game going as long as the other shows it's running with, because Darwin's Game will only be an 11 episode show.
Okay.
So the shows that are 12 episodes, it'll end earlier then, except now it won't. There was supposed to be an episode 4.5 that was a recap episode.
It also didn't show up.
I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm glad I don't have to watch it. For those who don't know, which is everyone but Nathan and Michael, I hate recap episodes. I probably would be even harsher on it this week if I had to watch it. So this is tough for me. It's hard to rate a show worse than a show that I didn't have an episode to watch of. It really does suck, because I really liked last week's episode, and a part of me doesn't want to vote it off for this, because I think this show legitimately is going to be good and will last.
Do we
but
want to talk about the other shows first, maybe?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I
I'm
don't
saying that
think
right
Darwin's,
now.
Darwin's Game's
I'm on
really
the
gonna have a
fence.
problem this week.
True.
Mhm.
So instead, we'll just hop right to the next show, which Dylan.
Mine?
Let's hear you.
All right, now listen. I'm gonna be honest for once. Dorohedoro episode 4,
Yeah.
not the hypest it could be. And we're gonna get serious for a second here. Just fucking kidding. It was the best of this week. Are you kidding me? You really thought. Listen, let me just go over why I think this is the best show
God.
ever. I don't know. Can't really think of any shows that are better than this one. In all totality. Hold on. My scroll bar went down. Hold on. My speech.
See, that's because
No.
you only seen like 5 shows.
Wait,
but
you wrote this out? I thought you were honestly ad-libbing this whole time.
Part of it is okay.
I'll edit it so it flows perfectly. Don't worry.
No, actually keep this is better. So
Got it.
episode 4 was a deep dive into our villains, right? Which, by the way, if you haven't heard already, are dope as fuck. Now, one problem this show probably could have avoided, especially this episode, was they kind of put a little too many sexual jokes into this episode. But I think some of them actually had some deeper meaning than we thought. If you want to discuss that, we absolutely can. However, I don't think it was just like, I don't think it was too much. I think they were trying to show different avenues of why they were doing it. Whatever. Show's still fucking amazing. We finally fucking see who this sorcerer dude is, right? This sorcerer dude with the fucking cross over the eyes. And man, is he a fucking truck. He could probably break my spine with his spine. All right. So then we have this scene where they go and they watch these people resurrect corpses and shit. And the fucking dude mushroom vapes on this chick. Kills her, obviously. And then there's this fucking, what would you call that? A pig? A rabbit?
Sure. Yeah, a pig.
A prabbit? All right.
An
so-
animal.
And this thing can bring people back to life. Now that's kind of fucking lit if you think about it. And kind of makes our villains a little OP. And then we go back at the end of the episode. We go to Kaimon and Nikaido, and they're currently just like trying to look for this dude who knows a shit ton of shit about sorcerers, delivering sorcerer medicine, right? And basically, it's this fucking kid who is actually 60 because of magic, who makes a door of people
A door out of people.
with people.
Yes.
Yes.
People door. It's the
Now,
people's door.
I guess I'm open to discussion on why you guys didn't like this episode, but I doubt there's gonna be a lot. But go ahead.
Oh, this was one of the best episodes this week for basically everything you said. I thought the deep dive into our villains was very engaging. My only real complaint about this episode is that it continues to build Eversue as a character I just don't care about. She's just
Yeah.
a gag.
Oh my god,
Still
I
just a gag,
literally hate her so
and I hate
much.
it.
The scene where
Uh,
she murders a guy.
She does murder a guy, and I'm very interested to see what her actual magic is and how strong she is. But until that becomes relevant, I'm going to hate her character and everything else she does.
Mhm.
I mean, so far she's a fucking like equivalence of a handbag.
Yeah, I hate Ebisu.
Oh, Dylan, there is a scene you forgot to mention this episode.
Yeah?
Is when
Turkey.
the sorcerer. Well, okay, the turkey, but that was what he was taught. Oh, we'll get there. The scene where they're fighting the dude who's attached to the female sorcerer who can bring people back to life, and he takes the drug and just shoots, and Shin is rushing him, and he just he just vaporizes his arm. And then Noi now just
Oh my god, that was
restores
my
it, and he
favorite
immediately
scene.
fucks
That was
him
my
up.
favorite
It's
scene
so
over the
good.
entire episode.
I gotta be honest. I've never seen a villain fight with a hammer, and I want to see more villains fight with hammers. I don't know why,
Dude, he just
but Shin is probably one of the most badass villains. Like I don't even give a shit about N, and like Noi's fucking dope too. But like Shin is like scary. Like even the scenes later where he punches his whole fist through the fucking 4 meter tall dude, like just fucking straight through it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you actually hit me." Damn, bro.
Yeah,
Damn.
so going to your comment about sexual scenes, the bit with the turkey sorcerer, I actually got a kick out of it. I
Mhm.
think it's a funny look into Shin's personality and how he views his partner, and the fact
Yeah,
that he just
That's why I
like
said
it's
that.
it's
Yeah.
a good bit. The odd scene that I think Michael and I still don't understand what exactly happens is when the turkey clone of the dude inside of Kaiman attacks them when they find the safe. I'm not sure what he does to Ebisu or the
What
other
was he
dude, 'cause
eating?
It looks like he
he's
fucking eats her placenta, and it's
Yeah,
weird.
I don't. I'm not sure what
Okay.
happens there.
Those were.
I'm
I
not
thought
sure
those
what
were her
happens in that
arms, and he
scene.
was like taking a chunk out of her neck.
I don't
Maybe
fucking know.
I don't know.
He eats something and
I'm
drops her on the
pretending like
ground.
I'm pretending like it just didn't happen. That's because the rest of that scene's great. That's a good scene
Yeah.
still. I'm very interested about the head. I'm very interested about the fact the premise of them going to the sorcerer world and just fucking shit up is super exciting to me. This show's gonna
Yeah.
go off the rails and super hard the next few episodes.
Okay, I'm
Um,
not gonna go into
I
that.
mean, yes, good episode. Ebisu is just kind of intolerable when it focuses on her.
I think there's still they might start to veer away from that style of portraying her because there was that part where like she literally didn't remember anything and then she got turned into a zombie. And I'm assuming when she got turned back, she lost her memories again.
It seems a little like it. She also just doesn't seem like she has a high mental capacity, is how the show's portraying her.
Yeah.
I hope what happens is after an encounter, we lose one of the two villains from the pair, either out of Shin and is it Noi or now?
Noi.
Noi. Out of Shin and Noi, I feel like at some point we have to lose one of them. And if Ebisu becomes a threat at that point, I feel like if her power level's good, she could serve as a suitable villain replacement as a threat. I won't like losing either of these villains because I like them a lot, but
Out of curiosity, quick theory crafting. The dude that Ebisu does kill also has red crosses on his eyes like the sorcerer in Kaiman. Do you think that because Ebisu had a history with that person that she might actually know something about?
I thought when she was first eaten or something, the guy was like, "Oh, it's you" or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, he sees her.
He had
what
red
I
crosses
think-
on his eyes.
What I think is interesting is they mentioned that they're the ones producing the drug, and the drug is meant for sorcerers who don't have very good skill. And we see that whoever is inside Kaiman was in an area that didn't seem to be of skilled sorcerers as they
Yeah.
were talking about it. So it's possible he has something to do with like this drug that's being produced. Like I think there's a chance they're connected in a way. I didn't even notice the thing about the eyes, like you said. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I
Also,
hadn't caught that.
I think Kaiman knows Nikai is a sorcerer, and he conveniently just like changes the subject whenever she's about to open
Yeah,
up to
keeps
him
interrupting.
because he doesn't want her to validate it, right?
I think it could be that, or also could just be he himself might not care.
I'm pretty sure he's not that dumb.
I didn't mean it from like a dumb point. I mean it from like him going. It hasn't mattered in the past as he's a sorcerer, so why should it matter now? I think it's more likely you're right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I could see that being another possibility. I hope the show doesn't do
yeah.
that because I think that's the worst of the decisions.
Because
to
his
do,
whole
is to
shtick is
go-
that he kills sorcerers. Like it's literally he mentioned at the
Yeah.
beginning of this episode that's literally like there's no sorcerers, he's bored.
I am glad that she continually is trying to bring it up because it shows that she doesn't want to be hiding this, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
From her character.
So about that plus thing, did you guys not notice that that's been on like half of the people they've killed?
No.
What does
Uh,
it mean? Like,
no.
do we know what it
in the
means?
scene, you know where we first get introduced to Shin and Noi? Every single person
Yeah.
they kill in that scene has the pluses, has the crosses over their eyes.
That's
So
right.
it's probably a gang affiliation thing because they seem to be the competitors for N.
Yeah.
is
Well,
kinda
apparently
how
there's a
they're
lot of
talking.
competitors for N.
Well, one of the competitors for N.
Yeah.
Because he's very disappointed when he finds out that they're taking that woman is taking the drugs.
Yeah.
And then he's happy when he finds out that it's actually a pig rabbit.
Yeah, there's also kind of a weird change of character. Like apparently N has like a soft side
N.
for animals, but like whatever.
I mean, I thought it was
Yeah.
adorable, but I
Yeah,
just found
like
it funny.
it's just it looked like a clear random break in character.
Yeah,
It was like, oh cool, like yeah, she has a soft side, but like I kind of wanted N to just be like such a bad person that like I wanted nothing but him to die, basically. I don't know, that's my
I
envisionment.
still don't have strong feelings
Yeah.
for him. I do, however, the only other thing I can think about for this episode is the opening, like the visual opening where they're flying over the cityscape is so nice. Like
Yeah.
that's really like that city is beautiful, and it's there for only that small flyover scene, and then she's gone. And that's incredible that there's that much care for that city.
Yeah.
That's my feelings on Dorohedoro
satisfied.
for this week. Nathan, is anything else you want to?
No, I mean we pretty much touched on everything. There's nothing that I really want to mention. I like the show and all.
Yeah.
Is how's the CG with you this week?
I mean, it's as jarring as ever.
It was a little iffy at the banquet. I'll admit.
Yeah, that was a big part too.
But I think CG is so good for the fighting scenes. I don't know, that's my opinion.
Well,
Because
yeah,
it
I'm not
actually adds
saying
like a
it's
field of depth for it.
bad,
Like when
it's
Shin
just-
literally like beat the shit out of him, like haymaker the dude at 2 meters tall, like that looked dope. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, like you can't really do those effects unless you put like a lot of writing into it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He
I
just
mean,
straight up
yeah,
just
like-
curb punched him.
yeah, I just wanted to specify that it still feels like
Mhm.
a low frame rate. Like
Okay.
if I was to play like a video game at that frame rate, I'd probably be pretty mad.
Are we good then?
Yeah.
Feels a lot less negative this week about Dorohedoro.
Wow.
Wow,
I wonder
weird,
why.
because the dude who
Almost
hates
like
it.
we're missing. Almost like we're missing.
oh my god, it's
someone.
like we're not gonna have any. What?
Michael,
Oh.
you're up.
Wow. So we got Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. Good show. And I just like the show. I don't think there's anything wrong with what the show's doing. Guys, Elvis is online.
Oh,
Well, if he
Lord.
hops in here, we'll.
I don't know.
add
This
him in
past
here.
episode I thought was good. I liked the scene of them going into the sewers and then like visually like thinking about how they'd have the fight go down in a sewerscape. They're like, yeah, we just have a turtle crab come out and just ka-chow some things, and then this robot has a chainsaw and he has a really cool power. The chainsaw goes meow, and it just goes really fast. I don't know. I just thought this episode was pretty good. The show's just good.
Do you mind if I go first?
Yeah.
So
go for
I didn't think this was. I think this might be the weakest Eizouken episode for a few reasons. I could just misunderstand the themes that they were presenting. However, the sewer scene almost negated itself because they completely changed what the robot looked like by the end. But I think what they were trying to basically say is how other like influences change your anime styles and like your writing and stuff, right? Does that make sense? Because they
Yeah.
completely changed what the robot looked like by the end. It made it look super cool. And then what's her name? Tall chick, Hanamori. Is that her name?
Kanamori.
Kanamori. Yes. Basically said like, oh, might be a little bit too much. Like the episode, it was the greatest Eizouken episode, right? Like I didn't feel like, first off, I was a bit lost at the beginning. I didn't know what was going on. Like I was like, yo, what is this robot? Where did this come from? Why are there like silhouettes of everyone? And then when it came up, I was like, oh, it was just like to be funny and then like set the scene of like the problem basically, which is fine. It was like the first like 3 minutes, I was a bit confused. I didn't really think that was like too bad though. The sewer scenes I did really like. It's just like after like the whole arguing with the robot club about like, and like they're literally helping them. I don't know. It just felt like too much like the school board episode almost. Like it just felt like they were just being shit on. They explained and then they blackmailed or out-legaled them again. And then it's like, so this is just kind of like the same thing, just like instead of like to the school board, you're just bullying another club. I don't really know what the purpose of the episode was. Like, why are they making them an anime? Did they say why? Like just to get exposure?
Yeah, they're getting spotlighted at the
At the
festival alongside them because the festival's theme is robotics.
So is the festival gonna actually help them with what?
I guess it's gonna get them more traction, but I didn't think they needed traction after last
Yeah.
episode.
The robotics club is funding the project.
So
True.
they're funding the anime they're making for the robotics theme
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, so it gives them a way to make it, I guess, without having to worry about the funding for
Yeah.
that. So they're able to produce something to have it on like a portfolio to say, hey, look, we did this, and this is what we can do with funding.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
So in that regard,
And the idea is
it
that the
makes sense.
robotics club is going to use this as a way to get money to build a new robot, was the whole gimmick of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I understood why the robots club was doing it. I don't understand why the Eizouken club was doing it.
They're getting money for it. It's being
Yeah.
paid for.
That's all Connor Murray cares about, and Connor Murray.
Yeah, I guess if they're making a profit off it, fine. But like from the way it sounded, it didn't sound like they were making a profit. It literally just sounded like they were just doing it just to make anime, which is fine. Like if that's their passion, they could do that. It just I don't know. It didn't feel like something Kanamori would do unless they would actually like benefit from it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe I missed something that they said, but yeah, it did feel kind of like the school board episode, and it kind of felt like it ended like the school board episode a little bit. But I mean, it's still a good episode, just not Eizouken's greatest episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel, Nathan?
I'm starting to not like the show more and more. There's so many weird shit that's happening, and like, yeah, it's nice. I liked it in the beginning, but each show feels like the same, you know? It feels very boring and bland at this point, and it's really not grabbing me the way it did in the beginning.
Do you have any examples of like what's boring about it?
Well, it's like you said, you said that the when they were debating with the robotics team or whatever, it felt like the end.
Same debate from last week.
I don't know. It's just it's really starting to bore me, and it's like I feel like we're walking in circles and we're not really getting anything done.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's boring. If it moved at a little bit quicker pace, I don't think I would be as bored.
I think a quick critique that I would do, I really like the three main characters of Eizouken. I wish they would dive more into the characters individually and not them as like a collective. Because what's happening is that like they're working together as a team, and like each of them gets their one-liners and stuff. But like as the show goes on, like I want to know more about the characters themselves, right? Like we have three really, really interesting characters, but like we're just assuming that they're just a team and they kind of work together as a unit, which is fine. I just want to see like more backstory, I guess.
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
makes sense.
I think this show I actually really agree with that point. I think this show would have been a fit to have dived in, and I hope they do this in the next episode, focusing in on like each of them individually as they work more so. So
Yeah.
you see more about them through their work and what they do. The small bits of stuff we get about their characters this episode, I want to get their names right. Asakusa, I really don't like her. She's the one with the hat.
You know, why not?
Like I'm not a big fan of like of the bits we get of the character in the sewer. Like I don't like the afraid of creepy places in the dark joke doesn't give me anything about the character for me to care about. I like her when she's talking about the art. Like I'm very engaged when she goes into the intricate details of everything, and that's the big thing for me. I like this show when they're showing the animation process and they're doing like the and they're showing how the things are being created. I'm usually engaged most of that. I really don't like the in between parts as much.
Like, you didn't like the
Like
thought project of the robots that they're making?
well, like I like it when they're showing you it. Whenever they go into the actual sketching of it, I enjoy those parts. It's the parts where it's like getting there, which I know you need that. It's just to me, I look back and I go, man, I like it's not engaging me. Probably because they're not. It doesn't feel like they're doing anything with the characters to me
Yeah.
yet. So like I would hope to see that. One of the things I really liked about this episode is that by the time they're done remodeling the robot, it just kind of looks like the Iron Giant, which is like if that's the intention, it's a nice little nod to like that artistic style of that robot. And the episode title I think is the Iron Giant or something along those lines. So if that's actually the reason they did that, I really like that. If every episode and every project they make is a reference to something, that's cool for the people who can get it.
Mhm.
This is definitely, in my opinion, one of the weaker Eizouken episodes. And I think maybe you're right. I think maybe the thing I do also need is getting more in depth with the characters, like seeing more of them because I think they're interesting. I just don't think I'm seeing enough of what's interesting about
Yeah.
them.
Like, I think
Like otherwise,
yeah.
it's just gonna cycle, like
Mhm.
Nathan said, and it's gonna be the same process, and it's just a matter of what new problems can we find, and
Yeah.
I get it. This episode is showcasing artistic vision differences of
Yeah.
sometimes the people who want you to make something don't agree with how you want to make it, and you have to work through it, and there are different ways to take that approach, and that's great as a theme and a moral. It just isn't engaging as much this episode for me.
Yeah, you don't need 22 minutes to tell us that, I feel like, right? Like, you don't need a whole
Yeah,
episode to tell you that people might not agree with your vision, but you have to do what they say because they're funding it. Like, I think we kind of got that, right?
there's a weird disconnect for me where it's like I understand the value of them going into the sewers and showcasing that this is how these two work. They like to be in the field visualizing it, and then the shift back to the wall. Now you have to showcase the debate, and you have to showcase creating the artistic value, like creating each of the creature and the robot and the process that goes into that. But then by the end, it just feels like not a lot happened in the
Mm-hmm.
episode. That's where I sit. I don't think the show is bad. I don't think a lot of the shows
Yeah.
I honestly like a lot of the shows we have.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of what's doing what and engaging me.
Yeah.
And I might be being a little harsh on Eizouken this week comparatively looking at it, but this is where I stand right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really not liking this show anymore.
I think we hit everything, unless, Michael, you want to retouch on
Any
something?
other comments? Yeah.
I mean, no, I mean, all your points make sense. Like, I understand the wanting to get more characters. Like, I was thinking back, and like Mizusaki has this interesting thing of being a idol of some type, and it's like, why do we just not go into that ever?
Yeah,
Like,
like, what
just
if she has, like, a really depressing past or something?
Yeah,
Like,
like it
parents,
gets
like,
mentioned like
you know what I
once an
mean?
episode where like a person walks up and goes, "Oh my god, it's Mizusaki," and she
It was literally the
gives
first
an
15
autograph.
seconds, yeah.
Yeah, every
You're like,
fucking
"Hey,
episode
I'm a
there's one
big
of those.
fan." Also, like the looks I as weird as it is to like have the dynamic with it, I did appreciate the bits in the other episodes where it's like, oh, this is a really nice couch. I don't want to damage it. And she's like, it's just a couch. Like, what's the so what if it costs like $1,000,000? It's just a couch.
Mhm.
Like I enjoy that dynamic. I also enjoyed the bit in this episode where she's like, before I go to bed, I practice doing a Hadouken.
Yeah.
That was
It's
that was
silly.
great.
It's
Yeah.
not what I expect for her character, so I'd like to dive into the character more.
Yeah. Maybe next episode we'll get that. But,
Yeah,
like, I mean, like,
I'm hoping.
I don't think this was the worst show of this week.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think
It
so
was
either.
definitely the weakest show of its own series, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's setting up for what's going to be the next
I
arc of them creating this
hope.
robot thing.
I hope that it's like a setup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are we good to move on then?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll handle this one since Alex isn't here. Next up is I Hate Being in Pain, full defense build. I like this episode this week. We get a good look at a dungeon crawl for the event of them doing the medal collection. We get a more in-depth look at how they're using their skills and abilities for 2 different boss fights. One boss fight establishes Maple's ability to what's the ability
Counter
name?
move.
Counter move. As a
Cover
ability
move.
tool, which
I think it was
is-
cover move. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Is it cover
That
move?
was it cover? Oh,
Yeah, it's cover move,
Yeah.
you idiot.
cover
Yeah,
move.
no, how'd
I
you
like
not
that.
know that? Because you said it, I think I counted 48 times that episode, but go ahead.
Very true. I like seeing her use it as mobility. I like the fact that we're watching the developers go shit, balance around her. She's too strong. Continually balance around her. Really, the big thing for me is the fight against the iceberg this episode. It's a Laginia. You can't tell me it's not Dylan.
I was
That's a
thinking that's
Monster
a whole
Hunter enemy. You
episode.
can't
I
tell me
actually
that
wrote
ain't.
down Lamal Galarian Articuno sneak peek.
I think
We also made that joke too while watching
wait,
it.
who did you
very
watch it
much
with? Because
so.
I pretty much made that same joke. I was like, Articuno's hyper beam is not very effective or something like that.
Yeah, Michael made the joke, and I was like, you know what, you're right.
No, it doesn't
But
doesn't
those
look
are the
like
two things that came
Cyclops.
to my mind. And then we get the introduction to the pets. They're adorable. I have nothing else to say about them besides they're adorable. I hope they turn to fucking like rat ass beasts
Syrup
if
is
the
so
show
good.
goes that way. And we're left on a cliffhanger of this assassin who's mad because assassin style samurai character who's mad because
Because they have to.
because Maple doesn't remember the place that she got in the last event because she's like, you can't even remember me because I got like sixth, and Maple's like, what? I think this is a good
Who's
week
the
for this
sixth
show.
man to walk
I
on the
enjoyed
moon?
the
I
action.
didn't think so.
Fair. What are some of the other thoughts this week about defense build?
Really want to go? I'll go, but like I don't want to keep being the one to first respond.
Oh, hold on, I gotta open my notes. I can't believe I don't have them open already.
Michael, talk to me about defense build.
Well, the sixth person to walk on the moon was Edgar Dean Mitchell, I believe.
Wow.
You don't know
You
that.
don't know that off the top.
You guys didn't hear me typing?
No, I
No, I
did.
didn't.
Oh,
You don't have Nathan's keyboard.
oh,
True.
Ashley made a comment
For
about
anyone
me being
who's
really
wondering.
loud.
Stop. They could hear it last podcast. You don't have to make them hear it again.
I mean, the defense build was good. Galarian Articuno was pretty cool. Syrup and Oboro are the greatest characters to ever be introduced in the show.
I really like the
Um,
fox. I'm really sad that she got the turtle because of course she did. Also,
Yo, the turtle's
I
faster.
was
than
about to
me.
say, it's so good that the fucking
Well-
turtle moves faster than she does.
The reason they have those pets is because they're indicative of their own playstyle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like,
absolutely.
That's why they
I
have
don't
the
know.
fox and the turtle.
There was like a weird thing where like the animation just straight up broke, where like they zoom in and she's like she's yelling Hydra or whatever, and like the animation was like really broken or something, and it was just it looked really weird.
I might have catched
I did
it.
not notice that.
I didn't write
I
anything.
did not catch it, but
But also, you can't tell me that Hydra did jack all on the first attack and then it straight up kills it later. Are you
I
serious?
did right. I think those damage
Thank
calcs
you.
were wrong, but whatever. That
Thank you
thing
for
is
reminding me.
strong.
Yeah.
thank you for reminding me that my biggest complaint about this episode, and I hope they fix this, is that if you have a health meter for a boss and you're gonna show it throughout the fight so I know the progress. Because what was doing the damage? Every counter move?
Cover.
Every time she
Cover.
no, I know it's cover move, but I'm saying like every time she did a counter with cover move, like is that where the damage was coming from? Was Hydra just going ham for the rest of the fight? That was clearly a phase shift that didn't feel like it deserved to happen at that point. I just thought it decided to go ultra for no good reason.
But yeah,
I want to
like,
see consistent health.
I
But
thought it was pretty funny that we saw the balance team too, and they're like, ah, shit.
yeah, it's good.
And I saw the eggs, and I was like, oh, I kind of want an omelet right now. And
no.
like, dude, that cover move's 100% getting nerfed, and it's like, she's literally just gonna keep breaking the game in like different and new ways.
I also remembered the fact that I also have to knock this show because I get mad when Darwin's game does it. Is kind of dumb. She grabs a resilience ability at the end of the fight to stay alive on 1 HP.
Oh my god.
I can't not be a little upset about that because I do hate when it happens.
Yeah. Also, did Devour
But-
just straight up eat its fucking leg?
Yo, yeah, and you tell me you didn't target its fucking wing? Come on now. Like that should have been the play. What are other opinions?
so she gets this brand new shield last episode, and then instantly swaps it out with her broken shield,
Yeah.
which
We see it for the first
which
fight,
annoys
right?
me because she even said that she slotted that shield with Devour. Why couldn't she just slot her new one with Devour, right? Unless she slotted
I
a
don't know if
different.
you can remove.
I don't know either. Obviously, we don't know like the dynamics of the game, but like, what would be the point of making a shield made for you to not use it, right? Like unless she gets a new ability in the future that'll make this shield somehow unique and different in its own way, fine. I just thought it was kind of stupid to like focus on like, oh, I got a new shield, and then next episode, Sally goes, "Hey, can you use that other shield, please?"
I would not be surprised if these shields get combined at some point in the show.
She's gonna be dual wielding
Yeah.
great shields.
I hope that doesn't
That'd
happen.
be fucking hilarious. She's gonna be her own phalanx.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down. There was a lot of weird zoom ins on her legs this episode that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
yeah.
with like the poison or whatever. That was supposed to.
Yes, the
Michael and I
venom
were
That was like
very
someone.
scared.
That was like someone wrote in a panty shot and then forgot to actually include it, or forgot she was
Michael
wearing
and I
like
were-
her Nike brand athletic shorts or whatever.
Mhm.
Michael and I were very scared of the scene where they have the eggs, and she goes, "Maybe it needs more skin," and she puts it between her legs. So like, please don't unequip your armor, and she didn't. But again, it's one of those things like it does feel like that was the intention, and then someone slapped them and went, "No, you can't do that in this show."
Yeah.
Write a different
Yeah.
show.
It was just a few too many times. Like the turtle one I got, but like they did it a few times after that or before that maybe. It was just a lot of weird zoom
Yeah.
ins on like just like random times. Didn't really dig it that much. I'm okay with the samurai chick. At the end, I think it'll be cool like how their fight goes. Sally did use super speed. You do have to say something to use it. Figured that out.
Yeah.
I thought this episode was pretty straightforward. I did like how there was no like super filler parts. Except maybe the animals, but we don't know if they're gonna actually be useful. You know what I mean?
The scene where the squad they let the squad go in and they instantly die is actually really well
Yeah,
done.
that was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Like the only one team can be in the boss. 5 seconds go by, the portals open again.
They're like,
Yeah, I wrote down. Okay, either that party is really weak, or this thing is holding back because they are taking too long compared to the other party. Hashtag plot armor.
Yeah.
My opinion is only the other actual important character in that party's good, and the rest of the party's holding him back.
Yeah.
Or other shield,
I
bro.
did like how our main characters actually had to like fight and not just be like, oh, I could just stand here. But yeah, I really hated during that fight how she was just screaming, cover move, cover, cover, cover move, cover, cover, cover move, cover, devour, cover move, cover. I got it. I got it.
Hydra.
I got it by then. Like I get it. Like her strategy's really good. It's you know what I mean? It's like playing ARAM with Lux and just hitting everyone with Qs and going, "Oh, I wonder what's coming next. Oh, another Q." You know what I mean? Like it's OP, but like god damn it, I didn't need to hear cover 48 times. Still a good episode though, honestly. There's just like some things
one-
that's just like that was kind of fucking annoying.
A thing that struck me as odd is Sally uses a skill called Mirage, and when she does, her body glows like it did when they drank and ate that food in that like weird
Oh.
area where we were like, I don't know what we were all like, I don't know why that scene was there. I don't know if that's where she got the skill Mirage
I thought it
from.
was more
If it is,
water-like.
That's a
Like
good
the way a
point.
Mirage
I
would
did
be.
not catch that.
I mean, maybe it's like they pull out a couple of skills they just have that we haven't seen them got, which makes sense because like, yeah, we don't need to see them grind and get every skill. But it is just weird to have odd things pop out like the acid ball.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I don't know why we needed that scene, as we already said. That was an
Yeah.
odd choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but
yeah,
I
her
think the Mirage
screaming
thing
heal too.
was
Oh my
it-
god.
heal,
Heal,
heal, heal, heal.
heal.
Like the way mirages work is that due to the way light reflects off of certain surfaces, it looks like there's shining, which is why like it'll look like water because the sand shines like there's water on it. That's the idea, is that she turns clear in a way like water does.
It just seemed like the same color scheme looked similar to that. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's actually related to that. It'd be cool if it was, but I don't think we'll ever get it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Any other thoughts? Okay. I'll take over for id then. I think this might be id's weakest episode. In this week for me, this is the week where it's not number one. It's still engaging to me. The look at this former victim who's now a criminal, and that there's a connection to the person he loves. This was very much an episode where I could watch it and piece together about where I thought things were gonna go pretty well. It's just some of the reasoning is off again. But the biggest perk for me this episode is it seems like we're going to be getting the more John Walker stuff, and I'm intrigued in that anomaly of a character in the well. So that's kind of the thing that I'm interested in. We also get a very good look at Handomachi,
Mm-hmm.
the young female detective. We get to see her work, and the way she just kind of manipulates that conversation, I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, I'm very. They left us at a good point for like this next episode to be a very packed episode, but I feel like at some point, next week's episode has to stop looking at the current case and has to go into John Walker, because I feel like we don't have enough of our current of the is this the Gravedigger still? No, I don't remember. Yes, he's still technically the actual Gravedigger.
Yes.
Uh, I don't know if we have enough to work with the Gravedigger and the woman he loves for it to be the whole episode. I feel like this has to go into John Walker a bit. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like we're gonna get something cool next episode. I just feel like this, compared to how everything else has been, this week just wasn't as amazing, but still really good in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. I really like Handomachi, in general and stuff like that. And this episode really makes me like her a lot more, especially with her completely figuring out, who the Gravedigger was and stuff like that.
Michael, you want to say
There was a moment at the start of this episode where with the way they opened it, I honestly thought they had lined up the holes in their heads, and I kind of jumped for joy at the fact that I was right, and then I was not right, and it was that he kissed her. And yeah, that's a weird, interesting thing. I also am curious to see if they explore the fact that maybe Hanamachi's a lot better at like figuring people out because of the fact she had a hole drilled into her head, and now like
Mhm.
her brain just thinks differently. Because she seems to be a lot more like, it doesn't seem like she really is. She hasn't seemed very emotional in these deductions. She just seems very analytic and like piercing through everything.
Yeah, she's kind of badass.
I think she was like that before. She was just not as experienced. I think she even said that this was like her working with, I don't remember the older guy's name, but like them duo. I think it was pretty recent, right? Like they
Yeah,
weren't working
I
together
think
for
so.
long, and I do think there's been of a bit of like a time, like as time goes on, she's becoming more experienced. Maybe I don't,
It's
I don't
possible.
think she's had because I remember the hospital scene where she's talking to him. She didn't really say that it like hit anything with her emotions. It didn't hit her limbic system, so her emotions are fine.
That's true.
It's just part of her, I think, frontal lobe. I don't think. I'm not sure, but I think the reason why this episode was weaker is because we didn't get Saikaido a lot. We got a little bit of him, but like it definitely felt like that well that he was in kind of got cut short.
It seemed like a very boring well.
Yeah.
As well.
There was no action.
wasn't a
There
lot
was
to
no.
it.
It was a lot of investigation behind the person, and they're doing that thing again with the morphing faces. It felt like they just kind of like brought something back without really explaining. Like, oh, is there a correlation between these like morphing faces? I just think like Hanamachi's interesting and everything, but like honestly,
Sakaido's
I like
more
Id
interesting.
because of Saikaido. I think Saikaido's one of the interesting characters. I would even, yeah, I'd argue he's on par with Kaiman, honestly, with like my most interesting character individually. And the fact that they're like not going into him anymore this episode just feels like a jump, right? Because like the last
Yeah.
two episodes, like they were digging into his backstory, digging into about his daughter, his wife, like they were just brutally fucking murdered, and he literally became like a criminal because of it. Like, I don't know. I think straying away from Saikaido at this point isn't the move if I was like planning everything out. But I mean, maybe we'll get more from next episode.
I still think it says something that the show can still move away from Sakaido and still feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this week was terrible at all for the show. I just don't think it was. It's a step down, but like still, like it's still like a really good episode.
Yeah, I think it was setup-y, and even as a setup episode, it was
Yeah.
good.
Michael, any thoughts?
I think this episode was good. I'm trying to remember what exactly the well was in this episode because I keep
It's the house.
Remember there's like the pool of blood, and he looks under it to find the
Ah,
chick.
yeah. Because my
floating.
brain kept thinking of the burning buildings. I'm like, no, that's the previous one. What the fuck was it? Yeah.
Oh wait, was that
Okay.
the one where he literally walked in the room and said, "I figured it out," and the guy went, "What?" Was that this episode or was that last episode?
Yeah, no, that
I
was
can't
this
remember.
episode where
no,
he's
that
like,
was-
he's
that
like,
was this
yeah, I
episode. He's like,
figured it out.
I
He's
got
like,
it.
hold on. I do like that dynamic a lot. How that guy literally doesn't get it, and now it's everyone. He's like, hold on, wait.
It's good because there are some people who it's gonna be like that watching this show, where they'll be like, "Wait,
Yeah.
what? What's going on?
Yeah.
Come on now."
I don't know. I really
Slow
like
it
the
down.
show.
You know, I
It's
think this
Show's
episode was good.
definitely my favorite show, I think, honestly.
My top three is kind of like solidified now
Mhm.
in my mind, and this is definitely one of them.
I totally called that those were bombs, by the way. I don't know who was watching this show
Oh.
with me, but I was like, don't fucking do it. Those are bombs. Those are bombs.
That seems kind of. I do appreciate that, even though the other detective isn't like a big part of the show, like the one who dies in the explosion. Like they brought him in last week for this Gravedigger case, and they made him kind of seem important with who he was interacting with, and they just killed him. So like, I appreciate the fact that that to me signifies not everyone's gonna be safe in this show. So some things could definitely happen.
Yeah, I'm so happy I called it those for bombs, but also sad at the same time.
Yeah, definitely a top 3, but like we're seeing a decline, obviously, and hopefully it goes back.
Yeah.
But we can't ignore that there might just be a further decline from here. Like the show might have just had a really good first 4 episodes, and they might not really know what to do from here. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we cannot negate that that is a
I hope so,
possibility.
too.
I'm satisfied.
Any other thoughts on id?
No.
Okay, Nathan, you're up again.
Alrighty, Inspector. I like her main character. She's interesting. She's funny. I'm not a fan of the flowery jokes. I think this is probably going to be the last one that gets made. The show is interesting. It's got a lot of great plot points that I want to see more of. I thought it was great setup with our main character pranking the ex-girlfriend and whatnot. And also, those melons are too beautiful to go unrecognizable.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
She.
So I pointed something out to Nathan, and he agreed with me. Why do both the murder cases that they dive into, both of the chicks have huge tits?
I cannot answer that
Yeah,
question for
neither
you.
can
I don't know.
I get it's a plot point. Big question mark on that one. On the second chick, I would like to avoid that. But this episode was okay. I'm starting to like this show a little more in its whole, and I do like looking back at the first 2 episodes that I didn't understand. I am starting to like this show, especially like the main character and the 2 supporting characters, the dude and the chick, Saki and Kuro, whatever.
Yeah. Kudo.
This episode had ended really well. I'm really excited for the next one. Because I think next one's gonna actually have some action. I'm curious to see how like some good action is in this show. I'll be honest, I'm not liking the main character. It could just be like her, the fact that she's like super jealous that Saki used to date Kuro, but like I didn't really like her this episode. I didn't really like her last episode. I think as a character, she's not that interesting. I think she's just very aesthetically pleasing to some people, and that's why maybe some people like her. I don't really see her as
Are
a
you trying to
goddess
call
of.
me out right now?
No.
Yeah, we're saying you like Kane lollies.
I don't understand how she can keep calling
Where's
herself
my
the
tired of
goddess.
lollies tag?
She keeps calling
I'm
herself
doing it right now.
the goddess of wisdom, yet doesn't understand that someone's clearly not interested in her. I don't know. Also, this episode was a little strange to me, and like they keep analyzing everything, which is fine. But I feel like they were analyzing some things that like didn't matter. Like they both showed. Oh my god, what's the main character's name? I don't remember. The main character and the other chick, Saki, both of them went on the exact same website and basically said the exact same thing when they were looking at the website. Like I didn't really need to see both their perspectives on the case unless it was something that added to it. I definitely think there's just a little too much over analyzing in this show, and I don't want every episode to just be them analyzing for it and then a cliffhanger, and the next episode's 2 minutes of fighting followed by analyzing the next topic, right? But other than that, I'm starting to like the show.
I'll talk a little bit on this show. This week for me was interesting. I'm glad they're using Saki as a way to re-explain a couple of things because she's a normal person dealing with the abnormal. So it's nice to get actual explanations for a couple of things when needed about like the spiritual and the yokais. I hope to see more of that. About like them looking at the same webpage. Our main female lead, her name is Kotoko. She points out something different than Saki did, but it's like the only thing different she says, and it's that like the art's too accurate for it to be someone who just saw it. Like, so there's something deeper there that they aren't going into. My theory for this is that we have a murder victim whose face has been crushed and is unable to be identified besides of personal possessions. And I've seen enough video games and shows of murder mysteries to believe that that means this idol was not actually killed. It's someone else, and then she's doing something funky with spiritual powers to pretend to be this ghost to torment people. That's my take. I'm not sure.
There was a quip,
'Cause
a very like one line thing where Saki mentioned that she had an older sister that looked almost identical to her from like portrait mode. My theory
Yes.
was that the sister is the one who actually died because the chick was trying to fake her death to hide the fact that she killed her father.
Yeah, and I think there's a possibility that this other female, the idol, is similar to Kuro in that she has some kind of like yokai human mix, which is why the other yokai are afraid of her. It's not because she's a ghost, it's just because she's similar to Kuro. And so since she's still alive, she can manipulate this ghost as well. That's where I think this is going,
Okay.
which I think would be really cool to dive into. I agree with you. I don't like Kotoko. The first like beginning of it where she's messing with Saki and is like, oh well, yeah, if we get married, yeah, I'll send you a letter. Like some of it's okay humor. It gets to the point where she just is kind of an ass. In the ending bit where she leaves the restaurant, I'm not a fan
Yeah,
of
hey,
any
don't be
of the
afraid to
setup for
fondle her
that.
when she gets there. I don't know about
Yeah,
that, bro.
also smudges the kid's blood more to terrify her. Like, there's a level where her tricks are just kind of outright vicious now, and that part's not really enjoyable to me. Especially since I like Saki as a character, I think there are better ways for these two to interact than it being this weird, hostile but forced partnership. Otherwise, I like this show enough. As bland and dull as Kuro is, I'm happy to have him back because I'm very curious to see. He's gonna be the action of the show
Well,
for most of it. So
I'm happy to have him back because then Kotoko can't complain about him constantly not being there.
yeah, it did never click in my mind that there was a chance that Kotoko was just lying about everything about their relationship. Like for some reason, I was like, I just believe her because I didn't have a reason to until this episode where Saki's like, "That's not. Why wouldn't he ever talk to you? That's not how a relationship works." And she's like, "Shut up, shut up."
Yeah. Did Michael say his piece?
I hadn't. This was a good episode. The only weird thing about the theory that she isn't dead and that's just like a person is the part where whoever the girl's name is goes to punch her and her fist literally goes through her.
Well, that's why I think she shares like that thing that Kuro does, where she has some weird yokai mixed abilities, so that, like maybe she can make things phase through her. Like if Kuro can't be wounded, what's to say that she can't act as like make herself phaseable through?
What if it's the older
Mhm.
sister that got killed?
That's my
Yes.
current theory is that it was she killed her older sister to fake her death so that she wouldn't get shit on by the fact that she killed her father, right? Because she was still going through the legal trouble. I don't think they said she was cleared. She was still under investigation, I'm pretty sure. But like if people think you're dead, no one's gonna continue to accuse you, obviously.
Anything else, Michael?
No, I don't really have anything else. Good
How
show.
do
I
you
don't
feel about
think
the show? I said, how do you feel about the show?
I think it's a good show. There's nothing wrong with it in my opinion.
How do you feel about the fact that we didn't get the ED this week?
I am so sad. It is the saddest thing that could ever happen. It doesn't make the show any worse because we can't grade things off of OPs and EDs. But
We
I was
should.
so
We
sad.
should absolutely grade things off of OPs and EDs.
Sean
You and I will
Sean
sit
Dora
down.
would be gone.
It's EDs to slaps. That's
I'm
good.
pretty
EDs.
sure it has the best ED, but continue.
Yeah. So who wants to do the science fell in love pitch since Elvis isn't here?
I'll do it. I
Good.
want to do it.
Okay.
So
ahead,
the show
Michael.
is I'm a barely decent, and I could barely get myself through it.
No, you're supposed to
Um,
defend it here. This if you're the first to talk, you
Fuck.
He's making a joke, Kuma.
Kuma, making a joke, Kuma. So I mean, the show it's funny. That's all it has for it. The issue is that it has nothing other than being funny, which doesn't work.
Very bold of you to assume that the show is funny for all demographics, because I fucking find the show cringy and irritating, and I hate it. And there's nothing funny in this show, at least this past episode.
I mean, I enjoyed the teacher. He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah,
He's fucking annoying.
So the teacher was okay. Hold on. Yeah, right here. So I was getting sick of the two character relationship between the dude and the chick. I was tired of seeing it. I didn't want to see it. So I was actually glad how this episode they were testing dates with other people. I actually liked that change in direction from the show itself. Not saying the show's good in any means. However, there was a certain scene that I did like because they paused. It wasn't even a pause actually. It was a quick picture of them doing the combinations of everyone drinking the same drink. And I paused it because I was actually curious to see like if they like reused any animations for the people, and they actually did some different animations for different combos of people. And I think some of the characters actually have like feelings for different characters that we haven't seen yet. That being the case, I fucking hate this show.
Well, let me weigh in here.
Okay.
I think it could be very interesting to delve into the character pairings, as you said, Dylan. However, I'm so bored of this show that I don't want to wait long enough for it to get there.
I think I could probably make a very educated guess on what show's gonna get voted off.
However, I will say that as as problematic as it can technically be, the the boy love ship between the two guys, that bit's a little enjoyable.
I like
For the tiny bit it's there.
what is his name? Torosuke? Is that the dude's name?
The blonde.
Yeah, I think I actually have two names for him. It's like Kosuke or
I
something
think
like
they
that.
call him. I think they call him Kosuke.
Kosuke,
Yeah,
is
they
that his
call him by
name?
his first name, and he's like the only one they do. I think.
Yeah. I like his character a lot. He's probably the only character of that show I like because
We get this.
he's the most
Go ahead.
honest of all of them, if that makes sense. Like everyone else is just like, oh, my dopamine levels are rising, whatever. He's just like, I am just gonna say what I'm feeling, not in scientific terms, if that makes sense. And the break from that like trope of like this show is all about science, I really like. That being said, I fucking hate Ibarata. She's a fucking psychopath. That was very hard to watch them two because not only did they do it once, he said rematch,
Twice.
and they did it again.
And he lost harder.
Yeah. And like I didn't need to see that backstory, bruh. Like honestly, it's just fucked. But
Yo, but that teacher's ripped though.
he is. And in that when I talked about all the combinations, he had the same exact face. He was the only dude who had the same
You
exact face.
You telling me that he doesn't love any of his students? Bad show, vote it
But
off. Let's go.
I
What do you
think
got?
if we're actually talking about like theories on the shows, I think Konade and Kosuke are gonna get together, and Ibarata is gonna be left on her fucking own like the bitch she is.
That'd be
I
interesting.
like her as a character though.
I
Yeah,
don't.
name some of her
Uh,
redeeming qualities.
She's a
Well, see, she
tsundere.
isn't absolutely fucking unbearable like every other character in the show. I
Name
don't
three
know.
times her voice changes in pitch.
Are we talking about the same character?
Which one are we talking about?
I don't know. I enjoy my brown-haired girl.
Oh,
I think.
Konade?
That's Kanada. That's
That's not who I'm
Kanade.
talking about. I'm talking
Oh,
about the
Yeah.
pink-haired
Oh.
chick.
oh, okay.
The gamer.
No, because the
Konade
way
and
you
Kosuke
talked
are
about
the
it,
only
I thought
people
you.
I like.
No, he thinks Kanade and Kosuke are gonna wind up together.
Oh,
Yes.
He think it's gonna break the pattern of the fact that Kosuke and
He's not gonna stay
The
with her
other one.
because she looks too much like the video game that he plays.
yeah, that's a Giga Brain prediction that I think is actually right, and I can't handle that.
And
right
I
now.
still fucking hate this show that I put that much
And
thought into
Elvis
it.
can and Elvis can tell us if you're right, Dylan, when he finishes watching the show on his own.
Listen, I'm a sucker for romance, but not this one.
This show would have been. I am so confident this show would have been the worst show this week if Darwin's Game had an episode.
Yeah.
yeah.
And this was the only show where I was like, does Darwin's Game not having an episode still put it above it this week?
But like that being said, it was the best science show because the past 4 episodes were awful. But like comparing them to the other 2 shows that we kicked off, like fuck, right? But like, it was a general upward trend. It's just
I
still
will
lower
say-
than all the other shows.
Yeah, I will say if you're willing to give one of the shows we voted off a chance on its 4th episode, we watched Pet this week and I liked it a lot. They do a lot of character diving.
God,
in
doesn't
this
that
episode.
suck?
It does. It does. I'm not saying bring it back, get it in here. I'm saying like if you're curious to see if a show could potentially get better, I think Pet's a show that unfortunately just didn't stride fast enough. I will keep you posted on whether or not I think the show's actually good if you don't care to watch it till the end.
I don't think I'm gonna be a fan of that show regardless, but that's fine.
That's fair. Michael, I think we're done destroying a show.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your other show?
Oh, we're talking about the best show. All right. Yeah. So we got
don't
Somali
care.
Tomori no Kami-sama or Somali and the Forest Spirit. Yeah, I'll flex on you. I mean, this show's just good. Somali is a fantastic character. G-Dad went through some actual character stuff this episode. Wolf O'Donnell, because I don't remember his actual fucking name. It's a really cool character.
His name is Mathrika.
Yeah.
Mathrika.
Yeah. What the fuck? Dumb name.
Mathrika.
I don't know. I just thought this was a good episode. The music was just really good in this show. And everything about the show, the characters are good. The music's good. Everything about it's good.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you that the music was really good. Again, I'm always looking at the bad things in shows. So I'm just going to start out and say I really enjoy Somali as a character. However, if she is just going to, if the only real enemy is the golem, I'm going to have a problem. Because so far, the golem is the only thing that's phased her emotionally. And if she's literally staring down massive tree lizard guardians, but can't stare down that golem for shit, I'm I'm gonna be a little upset. That being said, I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, I don't think her staring really quotes on angrily at a lizard would have made it moved away. I really like the wolf guy. Wolf dude's super cool. It's weird how they call how the bunny, well, one bunny dude just like straight up's like all of a sudden sounds super attached to him. I feel like if he was like that super attached, he would have mentioned to Somali that beforehand, but like, oh, there's a super cool guy you should meet or something, because they seemed like really good friends. Whatever. I don't care. I really like the wolf dude. I hope he sticks around. I liked his side conversation with the forest golem towards the end. The episode was.
Hmm.
I think I'm glad that it seems like we're done with the whole Somali being sad about the golem's rationality, because like the past 2 episodes was kind of like digging on that. Want I do want to see a new area. I just want to I think I need to change the scenery for this show to like still be great. I'm not saying this episode's bad, but like if we're still here next episode, I kind of want to leave. Like I just want to go, right? It sounds like they're gonna leave soon, and I hope they do like a quick time skip to them like traveling.
I think we're heading to the desert in a bit.
Yeah, I hope it's like right at the beginning of the episode. I hope it's goodbye, they leave, they get to the desert, right? Like I don't want to. Kind of done with the tavern. Like I think I've gotten all of the little things that they were trying to give us there. Again, I
This-
want these shows to be good. I'm just worried that things might happen, and if they do, I'm mad about it. And I fucking this was gonna happen in the back of my head. Good.
I do I think this show shines when it shows off new environments because I think they're all cool. I think there are parts of this episode I really like. The fact that that the golem has to beat around the bush about the fact that he needs a cure-all, and he was willing to pay anything for the cure-all because it means it doesn't talk about her being a human, is a very intricate detail that some shows might just breeze right past and would be and would be like a point of like, well, that's not how that works. So I appreciate that they're still paying attention to that very important detail of you can't tell anyone she's a human. That in mind, come on, bruh. If this wolf man can look at this golem and go,
mhm.
"You're dying. I know you're dying. You're telling me he can't tell it's a fucking hood on that child." I just want somebody to be a decent monster and be like, "That's a child. Watch yourself.
That
I'm not gonna eat her."
You know, I thought that when he said that to the golem, that's what he meant. Like, not only are you dying, but she might also. I thought he knew.
It didn't come off that way to me, but I just want someone to
That was
fucking say
that.
it so that we
Yeah,
can see the word.
that was a hard scene there because he didn't say anything like super specific, and he
Mhm.
could have meant a few things by what he said. I thought that he knew it was a child, like a human. That being said, I'm kind of interested to see if we'll get to a point where he'll just outright admit, like, it's for a human, help me, or whatever, to someone.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't be against the show bringing back a lot of these old characters at like a critical point in the show and having the a main conflict be, okay, I need your help with Somali, but you have to know she's a
I hope they
human.
do it with the Onis.
And then they have to, I wouldn't mind it with like a bunch of this cast
Yeah.
so far, like the ones that they get close to, where it's like, can you still like this girl even though she is a human being? Because I think that's a good look at the theme of morality and the difference between a monster and a human, and I like exploring that kind of thing. I really enjoy. It's tough because our roommate walked in as Michael and I were finishing up this episode, and he walked at the part where where Somali goes, "You'll be with me forever, right?" And the golem goes, "Yeah." And we all looked at each other, and our roommate goes, Why would he lie to her?" And I go, "Well, what are you gonna do? Break the 5-year-old's heart in the like you can't sing anything but yes in that moment, and it's a good moment that's very sharply contrasted with the scene with, I'm gonna call him Wolfgar because I don't feel like saying his actual name. The
With
scene
Rika?
between yeah, between or Wolf and or Golem Dad. That is him basically saying, "I know you're gonna die, and you better keep your promise to that girl." And the Golem's just like, "I don't think I can."
Yeah.
It's a strong close for that episode. So, and I hope you're right. I hope they do kind of skip past him earning the extra money, or even if they have to show, it's a very quick like
Yeah.
Yeah.
minute
Like
at
a
most
montage of
scene
him
of
just
them doing it. Yeah,
Because, like, some of these shows, like, again, but these shows are like 12 episodes long. Like, you got to keep it moving. That's what I'm worried about these shows. I want to make sure that they set up really good endings by their 12th episode and they don't disappoint. And if they keep sticking and like lagging behind, possibly, again, possibly, like you're just making the ending gonna be more rushed, right? and I love the sceneries in the show. I just want to see more sceneries, and just the world building itself is amazing.
Nathan?
Pretty much, I like the show. It's wholesome. I love all the characters. There hasn't been one that I don't like the kid, Kikura or whatever his name is. I find him to be a tad bit annoying, but I also find most children to be a tad bit annoying. So I think that may be why, but I do like Somali. And the show's gonna absolutely crush you when it ends because I know something bad is going to happen.
Oh, I hope it does. I hope it fucking destroys
Okay.
me.
I
I
hope.
hope it literally has me.
You cut out.
Oh, I said I hope it literally has me sobbing
You cut out again.
We heard sobbing.
in my room.
I mean, I can't wait for an episode 12 where somehow this flower becomes a fucking MacGuffin that causes him to somehow not him stay alive. It's gonna be like how in Big Hero 6, how Baymax the card gets moved into a different.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, Big Hero 6 came out like 10 years ago. You could fight me.
Did not
Spoiler
come out
alert if you're
10
10
It was
years
years
old.
ago.
It was like 8 years ago. It was 6 probably.
Keep going.
But like with the whole how like the soul get put into another thing, somehow there's gonna be like a new golem created with the same spirit or whatever of G Dad, so he can stay with her forever, or she's just gonna be happy with his body. Like his body's not gonna go away. She's just gonna have a.
She just carries around his empty
His
skull.
fucking corpse.
Are we good with Somali?
I think
then?
we are.
Yeah,
The show,
Somali's
the
a good
I will
show
say the
show.
last
is clearly very good.
the last thing I want to say about Somali, two things, because I'll do a broad overview. But I would not be against seeing this show pivot from trying to find other humans for Somali to them trying to find a way to extend the golem's life. If there was a way in the world to do it, I don't want it to be a MacGuffin. I want it to be a process that they decide to chase after instead.
Yeah, like they find like a golem smith or something and have
yeah.
like
I
the
didn't think of that.
consciousness transfer happen.
Like if there was something that we find that someone has heard of a golem living past its age, if there was a way to do it, I would like to. I think it would be neat to see that shift in character from him having to go. I will no longer. I have to get Somali somewhere to Somali and him going. We have to fix you. I think that would be an interesting way to take it. I would be fine if it doesn't either. It's just a thought I
I mean,
had.
like, who makes
this-
these?
I like that. I like that. Like, who makes the golems? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I like Somali. I like Id. I like Dorohedoro. Those are probably my top 3 shows right now at this
We
point.
haven't talked about
Very hard for
Orphan. This is the
things.
best.
I
show.
know. Let's talk about Orphan.
Whose show is it?
It's mine.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
This week we get a flashback episode going into Boar of Azalea and Orphan's history with each other, and we get to see a little more of the other characters, some of which is important because most of them are still alive. We also see Khan again, which is kind of funny.
Spoilers.
I sure do
Glad
miss
we're-
Comic Con.
Comic-Con, no.
You made
Man, I
that
do
joke
miss
last week.
Comic-Con.
I know.
Don't worry, I'll edit it out of it last week, so it seems like it's a new one.
Okay.
Oh wow! And then us roasting it as an old joke.
And
Yeah,
then I'll
it will
do it
just all
again
look
next
like
week.
We'll just all look like idiots. No, I like this episode. I think there's no better point in my mind where this episode could have gone. I feel like it makes sense for it to be him reflecting on things. It's a look more into their backstory and history. I wish we wouldn't have had as much time with the flashback and a little more time with the ending, to see Orphan getting ready to go and to kind of have a clearer reason as why he's going to the Tower of Fangs. I am interested in the fact that he's supposedly going to be teaching magic how to use sorcery, and it looks like for now we're in the clear and it's just him, Magic, the girl whose name I refuse to say, and that the 2 small children are not accompanying them yet.
You don't know
I'm
that.
sure we'll
Can
see
we
them
keep
again.
them
No,
out?
I'm sure
they
they're
probably
coming
stuck
back. There's
on the
no-
cart. Honestly.
Can we just keep
There
those
is
at
no
the show?
way. There is no way they're gonna be gone. They are a stereotype and a trope of a character
Wait.
that is unfortunately stuck here. Yes. Do you know which 2 I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the rich girl, the blonde?
Well, yeah, no, she's there, and and so is Magic.
Okay, just
I mean
checking.
the
I
2
thought that you were-
kids.
the 2 con kids.
I mean the 2 kids with the kid with the swirly eyes.
Oh,
and
okay.
the
I thought you were.
con
I thought you were
kids.
talking about them. I was like, did I watch an episode I wasn't supposed to?
No, they're very clearly there with him, and I'm interested to see those interactions. Michael and I were talking about, is this gonna be like a week or two of Monster of the Week kind of fight styles to see some action with them? Like where this show is going is definitely still up in the air, and I don't know how much longer it can be up in the air for me until I decide that this show just isn't doing enough. For now, I'm interested because we know Orphan's supposed to be this heir of like he's supposed to take this role of something. He has a title they gave him. What is it? It's part of the episode. I don't remember.
What, Son
actual
of the
wording
Razor's
of it.
Edge?
Eh,
Is it son or is it heir?
It's
Heir- it's
heir
like-
to the
I think-
Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
Successor.
very
It's
curious to
successor to the
see-
Razor's Edge. I
Successor.
wrote
Yeah,
it.
That's the word.
word.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the bitch.
I like seeing that. I also like seeing that Azule was testing him when they were younger to like show him if he could realize how strong he is. That the move he uses to destroy the orphanage is kind of cool. And I want to see him wreck shit up, but we need to be at a point where he can wreck shit up. So that's where I stand with Orphan. I think it's a solid episode. I think it spends a little too much time on the flashback, especially of the flashback in the flashback. But
Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
I mean, this episode was good. It still has the issue of the entire show just not knowing where the fuck it's going. They're just dicking around at this point. I really liked the part where it's like, haha, funny prank. I pretended to kill him. I pretended I'm dead. Got him.
I have a differing opinion on that, but continue.
I mean, I don't know. I think the episode was fine. I just like the episode itself. I haven't thought any of the episodes were bad. I just don't know what this show's going to do. Like after we had the whole Ozzy Dragon thing, it's like, oh, I expected that to take 12 episodes. Where the fuck is the show going now? I think the show is good. The episode was good. I just don't know what they're gonna do for every episode after this.
So I really like this episode. I really like the flashback, and I thought back to myself. I thought after this episode ended, I said, would this episode have been better if it came sooner in the lineup? And I actually decided no. I thought this was the perfect time to do it because after he defeated Ozzy at that instance, I know she did get away, right?
that's what it seems,
seems like she got
'cause
away.
She says she's gonna make up for lost time.
Yes. So this episode, I don't think Ozzy was playing a prank on Creolancelo. I think she is legitimately jealous that he's the successor to the Razor's Edge, and Ozzy is actually. I think this episode confirms that she is a mastermind villain, and I say this because I don't think she was playing a prank on him. I think she was testing his ability to see how powerful he was in the event that she had to fight him for something.
So you're thinking that like she straight up wanted to pretty much not like actually kill him, but like you think she was trying to test our boy Keyhole Cilantro?
I think,
Yes.
and you made that joke last
I hate
week.
that you did that. Set up that fucking joke again.
So
No, just edit out the last one. No one's gonna recognize.
So I thought the
Bro.
white sorcery use of the mental projection was really cool, and apparently it has some dangers to it.
Yeah, I thought she she
Good.
could only use. I thought she was trained in black sorcery.
Nope, white.
No, she specifically can use both. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
That's okay.
Also, Michael and I watched the robot scene, and I don't remember if it was him or I who was like, "You think she's doing the robot thing? You think that's
Mhm.
her fucking around with her white magic,
Yeah.
maybe?" And it was kind of confirmed.
Yeah. So I think, and we know that she like was testing him to fight him based on the first episode where she literally like takes the sword, which I don't think was that the
Mhm.
Razor's Edge or that was a different sword.
Do we know?
I don't even know. Is the Razor's Edge is a sword, right? Sounds like it.
I thought it was
Hope
just a
it is.
title.
The Razor's Edge. It sounds like a blade, but it's fine. I really, really liked this episode because it really dove deep into Ozzy's mindset of like, I don't care what happens to him. But the fact is that he's so supportive of her that he literally like almost blew an entire he blew an entire house up to save her and thought he killed her at first, right? I think this definitely shows that our main character might be stronger than Ozzy. The fact is that he will
You cut out.
He's gone.
I guess we're taking a short break then.
I really liked this episode. I really liked it. This episode was really good.
Okay, so let's Dylan finish your thought first.
Nathan's back?
Yeah.
All
I hear
right.
clicking.
So, okay.
Okay, cool.
So what I was basically saying before I got cut off, and I apologize, was that I think that Orphan himself is the strongest sorcerer in the entire series, and it makes sense. Like, yeah, he's the main character. What? No, go figure. But I think he's hindered by the fact that he's insecure by the fact that he thinks Ozzy's a better sorcerer than him because she knows both black and white. And I think what Ozzy was testing in that quote unquote prank that she played off was she was testing is her white sorcery able to beat his black sorcery, which she found out it doesn't. In times of like where he legitimately thought that she was in distress and he had to save her, he nuked a fucking house like just in seconds. I think it's really interesting to show like how far of an evil mastermind she is to where she's literally testing her future opponents, if that makes sense. That's all I got.
There is a character who I think we see a lot more of this episode in the flashback that I really cannot wait to meet her.
Hell yeah.
Like as in the current timeline, and that's their cousin
Tish.
Tish. That's not her full name, but they call
Yeah,
her
that's
Tish.
the name she's called.
Letitia, I think is her name, but she looks like she's going to be a hurdle to hop over. But she just has that personality of someone who doesn't take shit, is powerful. She seems humorous, so I'm curious to see interaction with her as the show goes. Hopefully, the sword, by the way, is the sword of Bolt Landers.
Okay, so it's not Razor's Edge.
No,
So-
so I'm curious to know what that title is.
I got really annoyed when like she was like, "What are you guys doing? Are you making trouble?" And it's like, "Where the fuck were you 2 seconds ago before we exploderized the robot? What were you doing, you stupid bitch?"
Also, she explodes the robot.
I know, but literally after our main character Orphan did,
Yeah, he literally saves and stops the robot.
and then she's like, "What are you guys
the fuck are you
doing?"
doing?
Like, shut up, you
Well, of
stupid
course,
bitch.
No, I do also really hope this show is building Aslay to be a very compelling and consistent villain, because I think we're at the point where Orphan can, as himself in the current timeline, move past his old feelings, especially because like anything that he might have had on a romantic level, I feel like now is out the window after their fight, where she admits that like she wanted Childman to see her as someone of interest. And I think that's big, because I think that might be the thing that was holding Orphan back for a while. And the show, I think, is hinting that there might not have been as strong as a romantic connection between the two of them as you might think, because they're technically not related at all. But I do not think Orphan feels that strongly towards her, because while the show originally made me think that he was going after her to save her because he loved her, it now that flashback now makes me think that he made a promise to her that he would keep her safe if something were to ever happen to her, that he would always bring her back. So it makes sense that he would be going for that, but that he understands now that she's not the person he thinks she is. I like this show. I hope to see some action with it. I'm hoping that this next week is not just a filler like.
I am really excited for Fenrir's Forest. Love the name.
Yeah.
And if it actually goes, if it's actually thematic to something of like Fenrir's backstory as like a Norse god, like I'm totally with it. But
You know
of
what?
course,
I
we have to
gotta
see.
say, this show is very like unique on its naming and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck it pulled some of these names from, but I am okay.
It
with,
legit
I am
feels like
A-okay.
an old fantasy RPG, and it just feels good, honestly. But yeah,
Any other thoughts on Orphan? Okay, let me get the boy in here.
Elvis.
Welcome, Elvis. Joining us from the abyss of slumber, Elvis.
Well, I never heard it described like that.
We just kind of want to hear. Do we want to hear what shows he doesn't like, and then ask him questions about some shows?
Yes.
Okay, Elvis. What are your least favorite shows? Are you done watching that episode that you were on?
Yeah.
Okay. What are the shows you don't like this week?
Does don't like have to be what I would vote off, or just don't like?
Talk because we kind of like went into every show. I guess
Mhm.
just your big criticisms for any of the shows you didn't like.
So overall, I think the week was okay. I didn't like I think Eizouken this week was a little better, than like what I thought previously, because it
Can
just
you
had some.
say why?
To me, it had more like actually had funny moments that I found personally funny. Like,
Hmm.
compared to other weeks where, like, the humor really wasn't for me, I guess, like, the little bits it had, and it just wasn't really, like, enjoyable.
That's interesting because we actually all agreed that this was the worst Eizouken episode.
I did not agree with that.
That's interesting that you said that. But go
Three
ahead.
of us did.
Yeah, true. Sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
I thought it had funny moments, especially I like the club that's commissioning them, like, the robot
Yeah.
club. I just think,
Mhm.
what like, the way they went about things were really funny. But other than that, it's, like, kinda like, eh, like, I laughed a little bit, but still not really, like, interested in the show.
Okay. What else?
The other show I really, like, felt about this week was, Shield Lolly.
Okay. Why?
This episode was just, like, it dropped you in out of nowhere, unless I just don't recall the last episode. It just feels like we just, like, got dropped into the middle of nowhere, and the bigger issue for me was, like, it's repeating itself. like it's just like another boss fight, like they
Oh,
fight
okay.
or whatever. Like it seems like it felt like this episode was just a very repetitive episode in terms of like how the last episodes were. Like I don't think anything like super cool happened. Like I think the thing they fought was really interesting, strong, and the ending was like oh like But other than that, like I don't know, it was kind of like meh.
All right.
We didn't say it then, but I do feel like the show they need more people in this party to keep this show
They do
going.
gotta make it a
because
4-man.
eventually this party just become, you're right, the exact same two people doing the exact same things for each boss
It-
fight. That is kind
It
of,
could be the samurai chick,
I would not be against it, and I will,
but I want to see some ranged.
I wonder if that dude leaves his other party that got absolutely dumpstered, and then the samurai chick also joins.
all I will say is Michael and I know the potential cast of characters because we watched the opening, so we know some of the characters who could potentially join.
I want to see some like some ranged magic
like-
users, like big explosion
Oh.
shit.
As a
Yeah,
character,
or like
I
the
want to
but
fucking
like
meet
I think
so
buffing
badly.
her up more to be a little more offensive would be cool or something.
Well, I mean,
What do you
So,
mean?
like,
what do
you
you mean? She just
that's,
runs into things and
that's,
and eats their
Nah,
legs.
Yeah,
she could
bro.
be pretty nuts, bruh. But
Hidura.
What do you mean? She just encases herself in a ball of poison and rolls into things. Anything else you didn't like this week, or that you had critiques on?
no, I think I liked everything else. I think
Alright.
everything else was pretty
I have
good.
a question.
Uh
Defense science.
huh. Fuck. When did I watch this episode? I can't remember.
What a good question.
I had this.
Thank you.
This is the professor.
Oh yeah, I actually like. Okay, so I talked to Sean a little bit about this. I don't know. I mean, regardless, like I'm just gonna like the show. Like I think it has like good humor in it, and like to me, humor's pretty big. If it's not like a very big like action show, if it has humor, like I'll probably be able to just watch it and like not really mind it too much. Like I either look like when it comes to me watching things, I either look for like a lot of humor or just a huge action. And so it's filling that role for me. And I just think this episode is like I found it enjoyable to watch. Like I thought it was funny. I like the professor. I think he's really funny. And I think his idea is really quote unquote interesting.
Okay.
I think some of the character interactions that are going to come in the further episodes are like actually going to make the show a lot more enjoyable. Comparing it to like the first few episodes where we're just seeing these two characters like interact, and it's obviously like very awkward or doesn't feel right because like it's meant to not feel right. You know what I mean?
That's what I was basically arguing. However,
However,
I still
show's
I
dog
think
shit.
this show fucking sucks. Dude,
Ellis,
go ahead.
I was gonna change topic, so if you want to finish
I
this.
just think this show is compared to the other shows we have, and trust me, Darwin's Game, no episode. I understand, but you better start ramping the story up quick if you're down an episode. Like, I do like how they're doing all the other character shit, but like, God, dude, is it hard watching some of those scenes? It is. Cringe isn't even a word that I can use because I hate using that word in like terms like this. But like it was just straight up hard to watch. Like I was just straight like one eye squinting, going, okay. I don't know. What do you think of it? You're not
Yeah.
like cringed out at
I
all by like some of that
like
shit.
no, I find it really cringy, but like to me, it's just a part of the show, and
Is
like
that like the funniness is in the awkwardness?
Elvis laughs.
yeah,
Elvis
like
takes
I
cringe
think
to his
like
face and
that
laughs at
that
it.
show is like made to like have that to it, and I think that this
Elvis.
next episode is
I'm gonna
gonna
turn it
like
to a raisin,
change
buddy.
it.
I
The show
think the
dog.
show.
Like to me, it's like like yeah, like I watch it and it's cringy, but like there's parts that's funny, and I think it is funny. Like to me,
Are we gonna be good to all of us vote?
I
God.
because Darwin's Game missed an episode this week, I'm going to be very critical of it next week. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the
usually how it
decision
goes.
I made. I did not vote Darwin's Game off this week. I made the decision to instead.
See what they did with their break. Yeah, I'm expecting big things.
Sean, would you care to go through the results, buddy?
Darwin's Game had 4 saves, 1 slay. Dorohedoro 5 saves. Eizouken 4 saves, 1 slay. 5 saves for I Hate Being in Pain. 5 saves for id. 5 saves for Inspector, 4 slays for Science, 1 save, 5 saves for Somali, 5 saves for Orphan. So this week Science is gone, and Alex didn't even have to be here to do it.
Someone voted Slay on Somali?
No, 5 saves
Oh, I thought you said 4.
for Somali.
It's like, oh shit.
No, the other one that had 4 was Eizouken in Darwin's game.
Mhm.
So that wraps up this week. So we will no longer, we will not have to watch Science this week.
Mhm.
So our next episode counts this week are Darwin's game episode 6. Sorry, 5. That right. I forgot.
Mm.
Darwin's game episode 5 will finally be here. Dorohedoro episode 5. Keep your hands off Eizouken 6. Defense build 5. id 6,
Which is already out. Yeah.
Inspector
5.
5, Somali episode 5, and Orphan episode 5 as well. And that will be what we are watching for next Sunday. We are getting rid of some of the shows. We now only have 8 shows.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
only
8.
Eight
Yes.
shows. Yeah. So this was a week.